Hello and welcome to 4,000 and Counting. I'm Watty, this is Mark, and we are back for a very, very, very big roundup. We have had NIHL 1 North and South, NIHL 2 North and South. We've had the first week of the national playoffs. We've had eliminations in the Elite League. We've had guest announcements for playoff finals weekend. We've got the lineup for the Scottish National League finals this weekend in Edinburgh. And we have a new member for next weekend up in Nottingham. So, Mark, fuck, it's all happening, mate. Where should we
Yeah,
kick off, mate?
let's start with your weekend because obviously you'd attended the hockey Ally Pally. So I actually want to hear what you thought about it, and also I'd like to hear not just about the hockey, but like overall, did you
Yep.
think it was the right venue? Like how many people were there? Was there anything like what was happening basically?
Right, that's a lot of questions. I'll try and answer them in some sort of order. Ali Pally looks wicked, mate. I haven't been there in so long. Since they've had Plexi, that's the first time I've been there. Look wicked. The surprise for me, and I do get it financially, but when there's going to be 4 games on ice, obviously I went up with Josh, who plays for the Buffalo. So unfortunately for me, I was at Ali Pally from 8 a.m. on Saturday. So it was a fucking early start, let me tell you. But there was patch ice, there was figure skaters and stuff on the ice beforehand. I do get it. Ali Pally ice is expensive, so you can't really have it sat there. In an ideal world, though, on a finals day when there's going to be 4 games, I would love to see the ice free, not touched. Good old flood last night. Let it go. Turn the temp up. They did have an issue later on in the day. The rink was supposed to be running at -7, and it went down to -3. That was leading into the Jets Chelmsford game. I don't really know how that panned out because I did have to leave, but I'm guessing from the highlights I watched, the ice didn't look too bad. The weekend kicked off. We had Basingstoke Buffalo taking on Guildford Phoenix. Guildford Phoenix, obviously league champions. Buffalo finished the season super strong. They got the Bison contingent. I fancied them before the weekend, and they delivered. They turned Guildford over 5-2 on the Saturday. Very good value for it. And let me just say, Adam Jones, best player on the ice by a mile of all players of the entire weekend, NIHL 1 and 2. Like, I asked him afterwards, after the first game on the Saturday, I was like, how do you feel? It's coming back. It's been a few games now. It's starting to come back. And when I was stood talking to my dad watching him, I'm watching this guy's brain, and it's playing a different sport from the other guys at NIHL 2. I was like, how do you find, like, because your brain's over there, but you're turning up and there should be a guy there waiting for the pass and he's not. Or, you'll go for a reverse and the D man's not there. Just little things that the higher up the levels you go, the more
Yeah.
it just becomes second nature. The more experience you get, the more it becomes second nature. Obviously, he's playing with like some inexperienced guys there. Buffalo, though, fantastic job. Some of their young kids, young Freddie Stevens, he deserves a shout out for his game on Saturday and the game on Sunday. Thought he played exceptionally well. Talked to one of the boys before, and they was like, thought Hannum would do a little bit more. This was at the end of the first period. I was like, mate, he scored 44 goals this year. I think he's going to be all right. He scored a hat trick in the second period, so like he was all right. I thought all the Bison boys they look pretty good out there, and then some of the youngsters, as I said, I was really really impressed with Freddie Stevens. He put his body on the line, stay at home kind of D man, just does the job, nothing flash. But when you're a forward, that's a fucking dream because he does exactly what he's supposed to do. And then the Buffalo get the win. The Guildford Phoenix, they turned up in their playoff winners hats from like 2 years prior. So I think that maybe might have got in the Buffalo's ribs a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
they turned up, they had like playoff 23, 24 t-shirts on and stuff. So I don't know. The boys were having a bit of banter before the games, and it was an entertaining game. A lot a lot of decisions that I find quite weird. Blaine gave a penalty shot to Guildford when the Buffalo were 3-0 up. And I spoke to some other people in the rink, and it definitely wasn't a penalty shot. It was 100% a penalty, but not a penalty shot because it wasn't a clear goal scoring opportunity, and the guy got the shot off. So it didn't end up affecting the game. Very well taken penalty shot by Sire from Guildford. I fucking hate it if I was a goalie. He come in like so Coots nets off slow, 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 boom. And I was like, okay, that was pretty nice. It was a cool penalty shot. Game number 2, Solent Devils taking on the league champs, Streatham Red Hawks. Streatham didn't come to play. They were piss poor, mate. Absolutely piss poor. From speaking to all their boys, they all said exactly the same. We were poor. We didn't get to the races. We didn't get to the net. Solent did very well at keeping them to the perimeter, and Solent took their chances when they got them, and they played the perfect game. I think Solent. I was very, very impressed with them. Young Kane Russell looked fantastic. Liam Coleman had a very good game. Taylor, the old Buffalo goalie, he had a great game in net for the Solent Devils. So overall, I think Solent very, very well deserved winners over Streatham. Streatham played like that against Billingham. They're going to lose at Coventry for the 3rd time in a row. I do not imagine that is on the fucking cards. There was a lot of very, very pissed off boys on that roster.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It just mate, to talk about leaving it to the worst time to deliver your worst performance of the season. Like I said, even said to a couple of their boys, can't believe you fucking guys won the league. I was like, you obviously didn't play like that week in, week out. You've been dummying teams, everybody. So yeah, it's a blip. Solent fully deserved their victory.
Fair play.
Gretham's performances in a big part down to how Solent played the game. Alex Murray, masterclass, fair play. And yeah, very well deserved. 3rd game, I only saw the start and the end of this game. I kind of missed the middle. Obviously, I'd been there all day. At this point, we're getting to like 6 p.m. So I went for some food with some of the Streatham boys, which was quite nice just to get to chill, have a couple of beers and a couple of drinks with those boys, maybe a couple of shots to drown the sorrows. And then, yeah, I got back, watched the last 10 minutes, exciting finish. And it was a bit more busy for the Huskies game.
Okay.
But it was pretty well attended all day. I was actually surprised by how many people rocked out of bed and got into London for the 10:30 face-off. And as you would expect with a day like that, mate, it kind of progressed on and got busier and busier as the day went. Some of the players stuck around, some of the Buffalo boys stuck around and watched the game. Some of them, bounced straight away. And then the same thing with the Streatham guys. Some of them stuck around and watched games. So, there was a lot of extra bodies in the building. And yeah, I think NIHL, they did a good job. The events team there did a good job. Much smoother than previous years. Would I like to see it combined again? Probably a no from me. I think it's a very long day, Mark. It's a fucking long day. Obviously, due to like train strikes and cancellations and bits and bobs, I watched maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes of the Jets Chieftains game, and then I had to leave, which was disappointing, really. But it is what it is. I would have really liked to stuck around. Sounds like the Chieftains put an absolute shit pumping on the Jets, 9-2. Did not see that coming. Happy to admit that I was wrong. I think you had the Chieftains though, didn't you? I think when you put in the group.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had the Chieftains. I had the Jets. I was wrong on that one. Wrong on the Streatham one. The Buffalo kind of saved my ass this weekend. Like I got 3 out of. Well, I didn't gamble on. I did fancy Chieftains on the last game, but obviously I was kind of out of the mix by then. But yeah, and that led on to the Sunday. Once again, shout out Danny and Martin and the guys from England Ice Hockey sorting us out stream. It was good to be able to tune in. Started off with a Buffalo, and the Buffalo did what they do. They turned up. They went 2-0 up. The Huskies brought it back to 2-2, and young Xander Robinson, I think the kid's fucking 16. Minute and a half to go, gets the puck, comes in, toe drags the defenseman, and just goes backhand. And it's in the net. And it's like, what the fuck just happened there? Completely the kid just won the game. Like, for the senior team, It's yeah, absolutely brilliant. Great pictures on the Buffalo social media. Him with the carp and him wheeling Selly in his goal. I was too slow because what the good thing about the stream was there was a replay, but it was only one, and it was like fucking instantaneous. So it was like goal replay. I was like, fuck, I wanted to get my phone out. I was gonna send you like I was gonna video it and send it to you. But it was like instantaneous replay, and then that was it. It deserves to be shown more. I hope that the England ice hockey and that do put out highlight packages and stuff because it was a good advert for the game at both levels. And, it got rounded out by the Grant Bartlett show 6-1 against Solent, 4 goals. 4 goals for him on a Saturday, 4 goals for him on the Sunday.
Oh,
I,
wow.
I believe 4 goals across the quarterfinals last weekend, 12 goals in 4 games. How are you? That's when the big players come to play. I know he never would, but if I was Streatham, he would be my number one target. I'm pretty sure I said this last year as well.
Yeah, probably.
Mate, he was legit, just fucking dominated the game. Absolutely, just took the game by the.
Sounds like it with those with those
Well,
stats over a playoff weekend.
his brother Cam also played very well. Was impressed with Lackey. I'm not overly familiar with a lot of the Chelmsford players, so it was the first time getting to watch quite a few of them. They're a good team, man. Cliff's got them playing good hockey. And then I said to you off air, Lorday shouldn't be allowed to play in that fucking league. Much the same as Adam Jones shouldn't be allowed to play in NIHL 2. Lorday shouldn't be allowed to play in NIHL 1. I totally get it with these guys. They're fucking dads now. Same with Ryan Sutton and Solent, a dad now. You've got like Callum Wilson and Pets at NIHL 2. Not their fault they're playing NIHL 2. The Bison got taken away from them. Both lads getting married this year, buying houses, and got pets. He's got kids. So you can start seeing why guys are taking that step down. So it's a more reduced schedule, entertaining weekend. And my gripes would be, and this isn't me personally because it doesn't affect me, but the Buffalo boys were pissed off because they couldn't get a shower because they're in the change room at the far side with no showers. So they're then told that because Streatham are now on the ice in one changing room, Guildford are in the other. So they have to then try and share a changing room with Guildford, the team they've just put out for showers. How's that go?
Okay,
It,
that's
yeah. Sorry, we knocked you out, lads, and you're going to fucking golf course and you're not playing tomorrow, but do you mind if we jump in? So I think it was
yeah.
like
Can you hold my
40 guys,
soap?
40
Yeah.
guys for one shower. Um, Also shout out Lee Mercer. Great hospitality at the weekend. Got a nice little tour of the Huskies locker room. Unbelievable locker room for NIHL too. Absolutely epic. Great locker room. Saw one of the funniest things I've ever seen, which reminds me when we got off air, and I will tell you, I won't say it on because I'll save the person the embarrassment, but it's fucking so good. It's like literally the best Secret Santa present I think I've ever seen, which is it's a big, big statement. Um, if any of my mates are watching and you want to know, like Mac and all that, text me and I'll tell you because you're gonna want to you're gonna want to know this. Sorry, everyone else has been left in the dark, but I don't want to be a bully or a cunt, but it is funny. um, but yeah, so just a good weekend, really enjoyable weekend. Also shout out to the EIHL. They and Hayden, he came up and gave me a league winners, a playoff winners, and a cup winners hat from 23-24. So, mate, gotta love the banter.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah, I like
that's
that.
funny. Maybe we bridge a little bit of a gap with the NIHL events team. We'll see. But they treated us with plenty of respect. They gave us access. Got some good interviews. 5 interviews out on the YouTube. In the end, that's what I mean. Like towards the end of the day, there you got to obviously you need to go eat. So then I missed out on being able to get the Jets and the Chieftains interview, which was a bit frustrating. Um,
Yeah.
but hey, it is what it is. If I had known I was going before the day before, perhaps you look at hotel rooms and bits and pieces like that and stay up for the entire weekend. But family stuff had to call on Sunday. What about you, mate? Obviously, you were banking on Bruno being a little bit better than they were, and they they got dusted by Kirky's team, who have since been dusted 4-zip in the next round. So give us a little rundown on what's happening over there.
I mean, we were just terrible. We just didn't turn up for the playoffs. It's really really sad. I mean, there was just no fight, especially in the home games. But I mean, Kirky and Litvinov, they just had us. You could tell from the beginning, the first game, just the attitude of our players. You just thought this is going to be difficult. Okay, let's go into the second game, see how it is, and it's sort of carrying on. And then we go to their place, and then we beat them, and then you think, oh, okay, let's go, and then we beat them again at their place. So the beginning was they beat us back to back at home, and then we beat them back to back at home. And then they just, yeah, they dominated it. Kirky was excellent, really amazing. The Cashier brothers showed their experience.
You said they were savage, weren't they?
Yeah, they're just phenomenal players. I mean, one of them should still be in the NHL, but for other reasons isn't. They're a really good team. There's Chooksman, who's another very good player. They just had, I would say, other than the Star brothers, they had boys that just wanted to play for each other. But then when you come up against Pardubice, and they're a very, very good side. Yeah, they're
They're
a very good side.
wagon this year. And shout out Kirky. 9 goals in one playoff season has broke the record for Litvinov. So Brits abroad, baby. Fucking love it.
Amazing. Yeah. He
Um,
played so good.
while we're there, while we're on the Liam Kirk news, ladies and gents, it's not official, but it's 99 point fucking however many percent you want official. Liam Kirk is joining the Berlin Polar Bears. Having been to Berlin twice this year, I am pumped for him because honestly, the atmosphere is fucking insane. The city is legit. They love their hockey in Berlin. Um, I think it might encourage more Brits to go out and watch versus Litvinov. Probably a bit of an easier trip just to fly into Berlin. The rink's really easily accessible. And I would encourage all Brits that do go and watch, if you're lucky enough and the schedule allows it, jump down the road, go catch an under 20s game, and report back to us what you think of under 20 German hockey, and then compare it to our hockey. Fuck it, compare it to the NIHL 1, NIHL 2, compare it to the junior hockey. Yeah, it's different. The fourth line D-men skate like the fucking wind. Do you know what I mean? Dangling. It's
Really incredible to see.
It's very good hockey, and I would definitely encourage anybody that is going to go to Berlin next year, go check out the kids program they got there. They play in the old rink. The old rink is sick. It gives me like Dean Youngblood vibes. Like the wooden stands. You can stand at the back.
Yeah.
You can stand at the back and just lean on the railing. Obviously, with the under 20s, there's not going to be really anybody there. So it was free to get in. Buy a hot chocolate, help out the club or whatever. But it's absolutely epic. The senior team, fantastic. They are still in the semi-finals. They finished second in the Dell this year. So, hey, with the addition of Liam Kirk and maybe some other business, Kirky could potentially be looking at a Dell championship next year, which would be legit. And the other interesting thing, I know you don't give a fuck about this, but it's being talked about this year online. We could see Liam Kirk taking on the Sheffield Steelers, which, by the way, would be legit. And he's going to score like a fucking hattie as well. Like if he does. Like if Kirky has to play against Sheffield, it's going to be Snipe City. Do you think
That'd be
Berlin?
nice for well,
Do you think Berlin would take it seriously though? Because we talk about this all the time. Belfast beat Pardubice and they just fucking run show on the Czech Extra League. There's no way Belfast run a show on the Czech Extra
like
League.
it's really it's a really wonderful experience for Elite League fans. It's a really great experience. I get that you get the chance to see some phenomenal teams, but yeah, like if these teams took it serious, like some of the Swiss teams do, occasionally like one or two of the German teams do, but in general, like
Maybe like
honestly,
Frölunda or
a,
something.
a lot of them don't really care, to be very honest with you. And if you watch these teams, I can't hold my hand up and say I watch all these teams, but when I see the Czech teams and you see the play, you just like they're playing a lot of the guys that play in the second division of the extra league, and they step up, or they play the top. They'll play like a couple of top guys, but they'll play them on the fourth line, not give them many minutes. Like they'll mix it up. They just don't play the same hockey. They don't play
Bring
with the
some
same
kids up.
intensity. Yeah, honestly, you see a major difference, and I'm not saying that to dishearten anyone that goes to see like to experience this, because it's still phenomenal. You're still seeing
Yeah, yeah,
world class players,
yeah,
but it's just not what I want to say is it's not the same intensity. Like you go
yeah,
to the Czech yeah, you've seen the Slovak hockey, the extra league, you see the intensity
yeah.
levels. Like
I granted, I've never been to a Champions Hockey League game in person, only ever watched it on TV, so you do lose a bit of the experience there. But I've never watched a game in a Champions League that half as intense as Czech or Slovak or German hockey. Like
yeah,
yeah, it's not the same. Like the DEL, obviously 4 games this year, 3 games in Czech, 2 in the top league, 1 in the second league this year. I've got about a bit, so I've had a pretty good chance to sample what's out there. And it's not a video we're going to do right now, but we will be doing a video because someone asked a great topic. What is going to be the better league, Czech or the DL? I think that's a video that deserves it's kind of its own thing. Mark will definitely be running show on that one because he knows a lot more than me. Um, but yeah, like first impressions on Kirky to Germany.
still a great move. It's a really good move. The Dell is a great league, one of the best leagues you can be in. I think it will suit his game even more.
Mhm.
Being in Litvinov has really worked on other areas of his game, and he's going to go to the Dell really complete as a player. Like
Oh yeah.
I think it's a great fit for him. I think it's a really good move, and I'm really excited to see how he gets on. And I'm sure everyone else in the UK is excited for this because the Dell is a lot more known in the UK. Um, yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna be able to support him. Like you said earlier, it's an easy flight to Berlin, whereas to get to Litvinov, it's not so easy. Um, but overall, really happy for Kirky. I wish him all the very best with that. I think it's a wonderful move, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, he finished the season with very good numbers, in my opinion. 19 goals and 11 assists for 30 points in 52 regular season games. And then he moved on to the playoffs where he had 13 games, 9 goals, 4 assists, and 13 points, which is very, very fucking good. Like 9 goals in 13 games in the playoffs is it's great. We spoke about this off air, Mark, but like
He can play in the big game situations. He does it in the World Champs. He can do it in the playoffs in the Extra Liga. Yeah.
yeah. So as it stands, he is currently, even though they're now eliminated, he is currently the top scorer in the playoffs, averaging a point a game. And you know, the teams, not the teams, sorry, the players below him. One plays for his team, Peter Koblasser.
Hoblasser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got 10 points. And yeah, you know, I think when you look at some of the names he's in and amongst, we've seen some of these guys play this year, some absolute weapons, guys that you've just mentioned there. So the performance, absolutely exceptional. His
By the
form,
way, Koblasser is to give people some more context over who he is. You stated he plays for Litvinov. He's also, I believe, the only player in the extra league this year to score against every club.
oh really?
Yeah,
That's actually a pretty cool stat. That's also wild that nobody else in the league's done that.
it's a tough league.
Oh, it's,
The
it's
Dell will have more. The Dell will have more goals.
Well, more goals suits Kirky's game. I really, really, really hope that Kirky takes this form into GB because we're
Oh,
fucked.
100%.
We're fucked if he doesn't.
No, he will. He'll turn up.
Yeah. I
He's
mean,
a professional. He's a professional. He's in really good shape,
yeah,
and yeah,
we need him though. Like we really, really need him to be firing on all cylinders. He's getting some nice little layoff here. Played a lot of games, 13 playoff games on the back of 52 league games. It's gonna be nice. Give him a couple of days off here. He's gonna be off for what? 4 weeks. He'll probably be skating once he gets home. He'll then be he'll be into the warm-up games. Mark, you put something about this in. Let's actually talk about this while we're here. What's the warm-up games? Did we play 2 games against Poland?
yeah.
And what was the other teams? What was who did you put it in the group? Like Austria and like Hungary and all these other teams.
Austria's done, but yeah, they've got like I can't even remember who they're playing. It's just a lot of game. Each team. Actually, speaking of this, I'm going to the warm-up games of the Czech Republic, and I'm watching them play Switzerland. I'm watching on a weekend. On the Saturday, I go to Brno. I watch Finland play Switzerland, and then I see the Czech Republic play Sweden, and then the next day I watch Austria play Canada.
So sick. Not jealous at all. Not jealous at all. Let's have a look. GB men's fixtures.
25 quid, by the way, for both of those games in Brno.
That's a fucking joke. So cheap. Okay, so we got the main fixtures there. I'm not seeing any warm-up fixtures. Let's have a look on. I'm on the Ice Hockey UK page. GB men, 20s, blah blah blah. I know they definitely play Poland. Oh, what we haven't spoke about since we've done the last one of these. Um, Huge shout out to Matty Myers.
Yes,
Massive shout out to Matty Myers, an integral part of not only the Elite League but Team Great Britain ice hockey for as long as I can remember. I remember Matt from when he was a little whippersnapper in Cardiff under 10s. He had a yellow neck guard, green kind of yellowy Cooper neck guard. He was the only person. This kid just dominated and had epic junior career. Really, really good senior career. He's currently out in Morzine. I don't know how they're getting on in the playoffs, but yeah, he's announced his retirement. So huge shout out to Matt Myers. One hell of a job, my friend.
yeah,
Yeah,
incredible.
guy's a stud. You talk about people being in good shape. Matty Myers is in good shape. Yeah, so Mark, I think this is right here. So GB will go head to head on Friday, 26th of April at 7:30 p.m. Planet Ice Leeds before meeting again at the Motorpoint Arena the next day on the 27th of April. Surely, surely, surely they must play a warm-up game or two then once they get to Czech Republic or Czechia. It doesn't say anything, but it would seem crazy.
I think it's too late. Everyone's pretty stacked out now with warm-up games.
So we're talking the boys are going to be done on the 27th of April and they face off against Team Canada on the 11th. 2 weeks.
Surely they've got something else
2 weeks without a
lined up.
game seems. If you know, please let us know in the comments because it's not on the Ice Hockey UK website. Does not mean that it's not true. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to GB. My manager at work today was like, "Oh, you need to do a Saturday in May." He was like, "Can you do Saturday the 11th?" I was like, "As long as there's no GB game, mate, yeah, no problem." Pull the IHF website. So what time's the shift? He's like 9 till 1. I look at the fixtures, GB 11:20. I was like, "Nah, mate, not happening." GB Canada, mate. I'm not fucking missing that to go and stand in the gym. You bring me a TV and I'll go. Otherwise, otherwise I'm not coming. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to GB. We do have plenty more to talk about in the UK though, and we go to the Elite League. We are going to be there in 2 short weeks at the playoff finals weekend, Saltbox and the Green Room. We have Mr. David Sims. Either love him or hate him, you cannot deny the man knows how to tell a story. And another man that knows how to tell a story, Mr. Todd Kelman, Cardiff Devils GM. As Mark said on his video earlier that we put out on social media, we do have another guest to announce, perhaps maybe even 2 or 3 extra guests for our final show. We will be letting you know about that very, very soon. As soon as a confirmation comes in, we'll let you know. But yeah, buzzing for that. takes us on to the Elite League. Coventry Blaze, they get a 4-point weekend. That is enough to see them into the playoffs. Dundee choke massive at home against Fife on the Saturday, but a win on the Sunday away in Fife would be enough for them. They get it done. Shout out to them. Manchester still running train, getting good results. The Coventry Blaze was a big one because they beat Cardiff 5-0 in Cardiff. That's no easy task. Doesn't matter when in the league it is.
Yeah, huge.
Like it really doesn't matter when you play them. And then 4 points for the Panthers. They went down swinging, mate. They went down swinging. They did everything they could do. All they could do before the weekend was get 4 points. Hope results fell their way. It didn't fall their way. It would have been romantic after the season they've had, after the Adam Johnson incident, players leaving, guys coming into the mix, going through such horrendous form for such a long time, to be in it towards the end and for it to go right down to the last stage. You got to give them all the credit in the world. They really deserve it, those boys. They were unfortunate results didn't go their way. I do think, however, it does bring us on to a very important point. You cannot, on a normal season where if it didn't matter, fine. But when you've got 5 teams fighting out for the final 3 playoff spots, they can't all face off at different times. It's fucking bullshit.
No,
What is
no, they
that?
all have to be at the same time.
That needs to be going on at the same time. We can't have that. Like, it's exceptionally unfair. Someone put a very good point on. If game X is done by 5 p.m. and the other game doesn't finish until 5, start until 5, and now they know all they need is a draw, you can kind of almost play for that. I don't like that, Mark. What about you?
No, they need to start at the same time.
They really do. I know
Just
we're gonna hear it's because of
keep it
this, that, and
honest.
the other. It's because of ice time. It's because of this. But as a league, not only that, you had the potential to have some mad fucking Jeff Stelling, Chris Kamara, Soccer Saturday style show going on with what you had there. And now we cut to the Manchester game, and Coventry have taken the lead, and boom, they're in, and Pfeiffer out, and then Nottingham have won, and then that would be fucking epic.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
It would legit be epic. You cut to Nottingham, you got Dan Green and John O'Bullard there. You go up to Fife, you got Laura there. You go wherever you go, but you got people going, wow, this guy scored a goal. How does this change? I was watching it on live score. I don't know if you know, guys, but on live score, they have the live standings. So anytime and it was chopping and changing, chopping and changing. Shout out to whoever
Yeah.
it is. I don't know who it was, and I don't know how they figured it out. They're obviously a lot smarter than I. But there was 256 possible outcomes going into that last thing. 256 different outcomes with games, and I don't know how they worked it out. They obviously do maths or something, because you didn't get that. You didn't get that for GCSE maths, that's for sure. But all the different outcomes, Clan are gone, Panthers are gone. Bit of controversy with the Clan this weekend. And Jason Morgan, in his post game speech, kind of said that his goalie was carrying a mild concussion and a sprained wrist, if I'm not mistaken. They since, and I'm going to try and find it because I don't want to butcher it. They've since come out and said that it's kind of being taken out of context. I know Dr. Victoria, she's jumped straight on this. And also Rick Strang has also jumped on it. You can't have a mild concussion. You've either got a concussion or you don't, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get you can have different grades of concussion. Of course you can. And if you want to know more information, do not take it from me. Go follow Victoria on social media, because she puts a whole bunch of stuff up that and she's even said if you want to know anything, just put it on there. So Oh God, Antti Karjalainen. Hopefully, I've got that right. Glasgow Clan would like to make a clarification in relation to comments made in a post-game interview following Sunday's game versus Cardiff Devils regarding netminder Antti Karjalainen. Antti passed the precautionary concussion test prior to the game and was confirmed to be fit and ready to play on the completion of pre-game warm-up. Right, I don't know if people are making something out of nothing. Guys do play banged up all the time. Maybe the coach misspoke. That simple. You know, it's a frustrating time for them. They've just been eliminated. They didn't make the playoffs. You get a microphone chucked in front of you, and you got to try and try and dress it up, whatever it is. If he did have a concussion and the doctors cleared him to play and then the team cleared him to play, that's pretty fucked. Can't see any medical staff allowing it to happen. So I would wait and maybe see if any more news comes out. I really hope it's not the latter. I hope the case is he passed his test, he was checked, he's good to go. Got a sprained wrist, suck it the fuck up. It's 54 game season and that's the last game. Yeah, you got a sprained wrist, you got a sore shoulder, you got a sore knee, you got a sore hip. Guys carrying broken ribs and all like yeah, you can play with a sprained wrist. I think Dyson. Did you see the tweet Dyson Stevenson put out?
Yeah, I
I
saw that.
I think that kind of um gives some context to it. I don't know what his Twitter name is now.
I think we are sometimes myself, I'm guilty of this. Sometimes we are quick to jump the gun. Sometimes, we do make mistakes. Sometimes those mistakes have consequences. And unfortunately, maybe this was a miscommunication or he's just come out with the wrong words or what. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I just full stop. Anyone with concussion shouldn't be playing sport. And I say sport, like genuinely. If you have concussions, you have to treat it serious. So I'm not going to question what's happened here because there's been statements from both sides. So I just want to,
Yeah, I get
I
you.
think, I don't want to make further comment in something that I really don't know what's happened at all.
I've got Dyson's tweet here. You can say what you want about the team this year, but understand this. The coaching staff and the medical staff not once forced anyone to play injured all year. In fact, this is my first season in 10 pro years where I thought they could have tried to push guys to play hurt a little bit more. And he was looked over by the medical staff before the game and checked on in between intermissions to make sure he was okay to go. He was also told if he didn't feel good after warm-ups, he could come out and we would start Ewan. I had Antti look over this before I posted. I had a concussion this season and wanted to come back earlier. I was feeling 100% ready to go on a Thursday before the weekend games. It was an important weekend for us, and they would not let me play till the following weekend. It's obvious what was said in the interview. It didn't sound great, and he wasn't 100% healthy, and that's all he was trying to say. I'm not just sending this tweet out as a player or a captain of this team. I'm sending this out as a decent human being. No one was ever forced to play injured on this team. Like I said earlier, it was actually the complete opposite of that.
There we go.
I kind of think that puts it to bed.
Yeah, going by that now that you've read it all. Yeah.
I think that puts it to bed. With the clan being gone and the Panthers being gone, we have our quarterfinalist mark, and up first we have the first seed Sheffield Steelers taking on the Fife Flyers, who finished as 8th seed.
So fucking annoying.
What?
I really, really wanted to see Fife in the playoffs. In the playoff. By the way, that's not to
so,
say it
so,
can't.
so
Not
Sheffield
to
are winning.
say it can't happen. That's
So
not to
Sheffield are
say it
winning
can't
this
happen.
weekend.
No, 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 no. I don't want to. That's unfair of me to say, but like, I'd like to see Steelers and I'd like to see Flyers at the playoff final
I
weekend. That's a
person,
better way of saying
I
it.
personally can't see a way of the Flyers doing it against this Steelers team. But that being said, I couldn't see him doing it in the Challenge Cup against the Steelers team last year, and look
There
what
we go.
happened.
Yeah,
Look what happened there. Um, very different looking Steelers team, very different looking Flyers team. Sheffield are a wagon. They should have too much for the Five Flyers. I would fully expect to see the Sheffield Steelers and their big orange bastard contingent kicking at large at the Nottingham playoff finals weekend. Be very, very shocked to see the Flyers get the job done. But they do have a man by the name of Shane Owen who could easily get a shot out and easily could let in 2 goals all fucking weekend. So when you have a guy, do you know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah,
your goal is
it's very
hot.
true.
If he only lets in 1 goal a game at the weekend, you've got a very good chance of making it.
Yeah.
You know, let's have a what did I put the second legs in Fife? I got it here somewhere. I sent it to you.
Actually, is the second leg? Yeah, the second leg's in Fife.
So that's interesting. That also, am I right in thinking that the Steelers are going to be playing out of EIHL Sheffield and everyone's having a shit fit?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like Twitter's.
At least there's some ice. I know it's a horrible situation for such a big club, but at least they have somewhere to play at the end of the day. I know it's not going to please thousands of people, but in those circumstances, when you've got a gig or whatever, which is going to make a hell of a lot of money for the whatever the arena's called, utilita, what's it called, utilita,
Utility, yeah.
utility arena, whatever it's whatever it's called. It's going to make them a lot of money. So at least they're lucky enough to have the second option. I know
Yeah,
it's not a very big place, but hey, that's going to be intimidating, isn't it?
yeah, it's going to be packed out, which is going to be weird for the Barrow Arena being packed out. Hasn't been packed out very often.
Like,
Ever.
like being in Fife with a different accent.
Yeah. Um.
Just in terms of scale. Actually, no, Fife. How much is Fife?
Yeah. No,
Three
not
thousand?
not as many as that. What? Hello, Brody. Uh-oh. Say hello. Say hello. So who's that? Is that Mark? Say hi to Mark. Uh-huh. Right, get down. Taking that way because I want to know. Sorry, ladies and gents. That was Brody. Yeah, the second game, well, the second tie, so to speak, sees the Cardiff Devils, who finished second, very good form for the last 3 or 4 months, taking on the Dundee Stars, who squeaked in on the last day of the playoffs. Again, can't see higher than the top seed here. Cardiff Devils been very, very good this year. I would fully expect them to get the job done and make the final against not make the final, make the semi-finals over Dundee. Any different for you, or do you see it in the same way?
Todd's going to be there, so yeah, absolutely love to see him there. It's going to be wonderful. No, to be honest, I think Devils are very good this year. They didn't take the league. Sheffield are just very good this year. Devils just a little bit behind, but they show towards the end of the season just like they are hot. Like you have to watch out for them. There was some people I think online on Twitter that were like, "Oh, the season's over." I was like, "Yeah, but I would not want to be facing you in the playoffs.
Yeah, don't sleep on the
Like
Devils.
in the form you're in. Like, yeah,
Sleep
good
on
team."
the Devils at your peril. I would not be sleeping on them right now. Far too good of a hockey club. I yeah, I can't see a way of Dundee getting it done over the 2 legs. I just think Cardiff probably have too much for them. Going into the third tie, Belfast Giants versus Coventry Blaze. Huge weekend for Coventry this weekend, but they have been shite this year. They've had good spells, but they've had very, very bad spells. And the Giants, they haven't been as good as we would expect them to be, but they've still been good. They've still been a good team. They finished third. Try to find the standings here. They kind of sorted their stuff out towards the end of the year. They finished on 71 points, which was 6 back on the Devils. You know, the Blaze finished on 52 points. I wonder if we've got. Let's go into team stats. Coventry Blaze team stats. So they actually only had 11 regulation wins this year, 12 wins in overtime, 31 losses combined between overtime and normal game, a win rate of 0.48. The goals against average is concerned 3.43. And that is a concern when you look at it. You then go on to, let's have a look at the Belfast Giants. The Belfast Giants, again, we said that it's not been their most productive season, but we're comparing a championship treble winning team. So the Giants, they got 32 wins this year, a 0.65 win percentage, goals for average, 337, goals against average, 272. What I'd be interested to know is who the Giants go with in goal for this weekend. Do they go Besco or do they go Jackson? Not being Besco,
That's a really tough one as well.
not being Besco's best year. Obviously, he played more games than Jackson, but Jackson did finish as third top goalie in the stats behind Steelers and the Manchester goalies, respectively. It's going to be a tough decision for Adam Keefe who he puts out this weekend. Maybe Belfast Giants fans feel differently, but it will be interesting to see how they go. I think Belfast have enough to get the job done. Mark, what about you?
I would think so. I still think Belfast are a good team. Cardiff have just been excellent. Steelers have just been really excellent. Playoff time, Belfast are going to turn up. It's what they want. They want some silverware. Coventry, let's not write them off. They've scraped the playoffs. They have took some results from Belfast this season.
Fair, yeah,
It's
fair.
playoff hockey, but I think Belfast will edge it. Yeah.
And then that takes us on to the final tie of the weekend. Manchester Storm versus Guildford Flames. 61 points, plays 58 points. Both right there with win percentages. Storm 0.56, Flames 0.54. They both lost 20 games like in regulation. Mate, like this is a fucking pick 'em. This is a pick 'em. Like
Yeah.
I genuinely have no clue. That proper sitting on the fence.
Okay, after three, you got to say a team who's going through.
I,
We both said you have to pick one. I know it really is a 50-50, but you have to pick one on three.
okay,
Ready? Three, two, one,
so
Storm. Yeah.
that's installment share. I do, but like you're talking 51% plays 49%.
Yeah, it's really
It,
tough.
it also it depends. Is McAdam back for the Flames? I don't know if he's back. He's huge. Again, going into a weekend where these teams are so close, mate. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. It has the potential to be the tie of the weekend for me.
Yeah, that really is.
So if we were to be right with that, that would set up semi-final Saturday, Sheffield Steelers versus Manchester Storm, Cardiff Devils versus Belfast Giants. How the fuck are you? That'd be all right, wouldn't it? That'd be a good day out. Chucking a punk,
That's
chucking a podcast, 4,000 style. I think we'll.
yeah, that's pretty mad.
By the way, I know you're going to be atting us all over as if that isn't the thing. Hey, it's playoff hockey. Anything can happen. Buffalo proved that. Shout out Binningham Buccaneers. They squeak into the playoffs. They turn the Tigers over, who've been dominant in NIHL 2 North this year. They then beat the Sutton Sting, who beat the Blaze on the Saturday to wrap that up. Huge weekend for them. Huge weekend for Blackburn Hawks. They end up in the final against Binningham's other team, the Stars. Goes 3-3 into a shootout. Blackburn Hawks win it. That's the cup and the league double. Cup and the playoff double. Binningham, they have a chance. They've got to play Solway now. They've got to play Solway and why are you laughing?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the giant segue of we fucking forgot the North.
Yeah, we did forget the North. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Well, you asked about my weekend, and
Yeah.
I completely forgot that we didn't actually get to the North. But there has been like upsets. So if you look, the Bucks were bottom seed going in, the Buffalo were bottom seed going in, and they get the job done. So although it's playoff hockey, it's a two-leg affair. Your goalie's legit on one night, vice versa, the other way around. The other team's goalie shits the bed. You get three quick ones on a Saturday. all of a sudden, doesn't matter how good that team is, they're going to be up against it. And this is why I kind of like aggregate, but I would prefer to see a series. I'd prefer a team not to be punished for like, you can lay 3 goals in 2 shifts. You have a really shit start, and that's your entire playoffs finished. I prefer to see the series, but if it goes the way that myself and Mark predicted, then we're going to be looking for a hell of a weekend. The only one that for me would be a toss up would be the Flames beating the Storm, and if it is, that sets up a Flames and Steelers semi-final, which would be a copy of the Challenge Cup. So, mate, it's exciting. I'm buzzing for the Elite League Cup finals weekend. We have, before we go to wrap up with the National League, just a shout out SNL playoffs in Edinburgh this weekend. Going to be there. Hopefully, if we can find a good enough place to do it, we'll be hosting a live podcast. We're just trying to sort out logistics now. We got Kirkcaldy Kestrels up first, 1:30, taking on my boys up there in Aberdeen, the Aberdeen Lynx. And then it is Mr. Adam Walker and the Paisley Pirates taking on the hometown Edinburgh Capitals. 1:30 face off, 4:30 face off. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, good times. Yeah.
That's friendly times. I'd have to be at the rink at 8. Granted, I've got to be at the airport at 5:30, but I don't have to be at the rink until 11:30. Going to bring some interviews from that, and going to kind of showcase the SNL a little bit. I was very impressed when I was up there earlier this year. I hopefully you get take Mark up there at some point. It's really well done. I'm sure the weekend's going to be a huge success. Sounds like ticket sales are going very well, so I'm buzzing for it. And that leads us to finish up with the National League. What was the biggest surprise for you on weekend one of the playoffs in the National League?
Good question there, Waddy. The biggest, actually, no, because I don't know if I messaged you, but I actually had a prediction before the games that people are gonna shoot me down here. But I looked at the table with Swindon, MK, Tigers, and Raiders,
Yeah.
and for some reason, I think MK aren't gonna make it.
Mate, people have said it.
I have no idea why. I thought this before the weekend. Like I've always thought in my head, I think Swindon are going to do really good. I said it. I said it a few months back. Like with their run, with the rink problems and stuff, I said, watch out for them. They're going to hit some form, and they're going to be dangerous come playoffs. So I still stand by that.
Dave Cloutman come up to me at the weekend and goes, "What? Yeah, I didn't realize it had been since fucking 2014 Swindon hadn't made the playoffs." I was like, "Mate, I didn't."
Crazy.
And that was obviously the Dave Cloutman penalty shot in OT year. So yeah, Wildcats, they look good. 3-2 win in overtime at home. And this is probably what the most massive part of it is. They win 3-2 on the road, and MK do not manage to take it to OT. Regulation wins are going to be huge. That 1 point, though, for MK could be
Yeah,
massive.
that's huge.
It
Yeah.
could be massive later
Yeah.
on down the road. Staying in that group, the other results, obviously, let's put it up. Sorry, I've got them here. Can't remember what they are off the top
The
of my head.
Tigers beat the Raiders 3-2 in the home leg.
And then 7-5, was it?
And then, the Raiders lose 7-5 at home in the return leg to the Telford Tigers. So
Uh,
really close games.
Close games, but for me, I think that's a Raiders done. Because I personally think, you're going to need at least 4 wins to get out of that group. And I don't see how the Raiders beat the Wildcats back to back and MK back to back. It does, however,
That's tough.
make it very exciting if you're a Telford Tigers fan because you picked up 4 points to start the group. You go into this weekend. I mean, MK losing 2 games on the spin hasn't happened. Probably hasn't happened this year.
Probably not. No,
If
they've
it
been solid.
If it has, it might be once or twice. It's not been a consistent thing. So they're going to be fucking hurting. They're going to be flying next week. But we talk about momentum. We certainly talk about momentum in playoffs. Tigers coming off the back of 2 victories. MK coming off the back of 2 defeats. Really interesting to see what happens there. I think if Telford came out that weekend with 2 points, they'd be very happy.
Yeah.
I think if MK come out that weekend with 2 points, they're floating with being eliminated. It's
Yeah,
really
really exciting. Really exciting. MK could, yeah, they could still, I'm not saying that they're not going to qualify, but it's a really interesting group. It'd be
it's
great if they did qualify, but like Tigers know when to turn up. Like I always find they always grind out those big results when they need them.
yeah, they have a guy called Brad Day. Like, it's pretty good. He makes a huge difference. Scotty McKenzie still getting it done.
Luca's there as well.
Brad Lucas still getting it done. Guy's like 44,
Yeah.
just a fucking machine. It's funny, they've done very well with their old veterans over the years. You had Jason Weaver there, you had Silverthorne there, you got Luca there. Tommy Watkins has managed to find these like veteran old guys to slot in. Good tilt in that Romford game as well. Power and Aston, those boys chucking some knocks. Shout out you boys. Love to
Yeah.
see it. Wildcats versus Raiders this weekend. A 4 point weekend for the Wildcats pretty much puts 1 foot in Coventry for them. They'll be sitting on eight
Yeah.
points
Well,
with 2 games to go. If that was to be the case, provided, let's say they don't go to OT, well, then the Raiders would have no points. If it does go to OT both days, they'd finish with 2. This is where we're going to start seeing it really shape up now after this weekend. And everyone's going to know what they're going to have to do going into that last weekend. Let's go across to the other group. Very good start for the Phantoms. Very good start for the Knights. Phantoms pick up a 4 point weekend over the Bees. They turn them over 4-1 in Peterborough and they turn them over 5-3 in Slough. Bees are going to struggle now. They had to get at least something from that weekend, you would feel, because their last 2 games, they have Hull and Leeds, which are arguably 2 of the better teams of the year. Leeds' most exceptional season once again. Hull have been very good. Leeds though, they put a bit of a pasting on Hull, 8-3 and 6-3. So again, both groups, 2 teams winning 2 games. It makes it very interesting. Any surprises there for you,
Another tough
or
one. No, honestly, the only surprise for me is the home score of Leeds versus Hull. I thought it would have been closer. The other results, no, actually, I'm not surprised.
no? I'm not surprised by any of the results in that group. I did, however, get sent a goal in that Phantoms versus Bees game. It was a bit controversial. Looked like probably an offside. Be interested. I need to watch it again. But with decisions like that, we got to be getting them right in the playoffs. At very first look, it looked like it was offside. I get it, shit happens, but it's playoffs. These guys have worked their bag off all year. Let's just try and get all decisions right. Anything else from you, Mark? I think we've covered pretty much everything today. It's been good.
I think it's
Right.
everything, but just want to say that the GB ladies,
Yep.
they gave a good fight. I want to say, like, honestly, they were good. I caught some of their game against. Oh, remind me, I've been watching so much random hockey.
Slovenia, maybe. Latvia.
I know I saw the game with Slovakia.
Yeah, I watched the first period of that game. I think they just ran out of legs towards the end. Slovakia, are obviously, a wagon.
Slovakia, a very good team, yeah, and they've
But
been promoted.
GB and Latvia, they go into the last game tied on 7 points, looking to try and get over the 9 point mark that Italy had. And, Slovakia, they win 4 out of 5. That was enough to get the job done. The girls were pretty much 1 goal away from a medal. It could have been silver, it could have been bronze. Unfortunately, they don't take a medal home. But for their kind of first stop up on that division in a while, I think it's a very good performance and
Yep.
lots to build on there. and some great individual performances across the roster as well. I love to see the girls doing well. Hopefully, they continue to build on this, keep investing in the program. Let's not have girls fucking traveling all the way to Sheffield off their own bank account. Let's make sure
That
that
needs to stop. Yeah.
let's make sure the funding's there, and keep supporting these girls the way we support the men. Hopefully, we get some more like international. I'd say friendlies. They're not friendly, like challenge matches, but let's get some for the ladies over here as well. Let's try and get some people in the building and try and grow the game. The PWHL has shown there is an appetite for ladies hockey, but you got to deliver it.
That's it. Deliver it.
Deliver it, and people will come. They will come, and keep supporting the girls. They do awesome things. You know, our mate Ben over at Zero Putts Given, he's always got a few of the GB ladies on there. So check his podcast
Yeah.
out. He talks to quite a few of the girls there. Perhaps we'll get some more of the ladies on this summer. That would be good to talk to them. But yeah, this has been fun, ladies and gents. Make sure you do all the usual stuff: subscribe, like, share, comment, and let us know any of your thoughts on what we've discussed today. There's been a lot of big discussion points, and there is going to be lots more discussion points this weekend. We've got the National League, we've got the Elite League quarterfinals. I'm buzzing because that means, you know, we're 1 week closer to performing at Saltbox. I'm buzzing for that. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, ladies and gents. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. If you're new here, say hello. We will see you again for another episode very, very soon. Peace.
Peace.